Hello there. In the previous video, we were working on the if else statement. In this video, we'll be building up on that. Instead of just using the if else statement, this time we'll be building up an else if ladder. So, yeah, let's write some code, let's make it happen. So, in order to do that, it's just the same new class. Now, let's name our class as the else if ladder. Now, public static void main, just as before. Okay, let's focus on this. I hope this is visible. Okay, this is better. Don't need comments. Alright, so out here our basic principle, basic design would be that we want to write a code which takes input from the user as a number and decides whether the given number is positive, negative, or is it zero. So since there is input from the user, so we'll be going and using this kind of class. So in order for that, we are going for import java dot util dot scanner. We could have just imported java dot util dot star, but since out here we'll be just using the scanner class, so I'm just importing one specific class. And then since we'll be working on integers, so I'm keeping it as int input. Now let's deal with actually getting something from the user. So scanner in equal to new scanner system.in. Perfect. So this part is done. We have our basic setup done. So this is the point where we need to prompt the user that okay, you need to enter in some number. So if you need something to be prompted to the user via console, as we saw in the hello world program, we'll be using the sysout statement. So out here we'll be giving in, enter a number. So this part is done. Now we'll actually deal with the user input. So for that, we'll be assigning whatever the user inputs into the variable input. So input is equal to in dot next int. As I've seen this function in the couple of previous videos, this is how we're dealing with the integer base user input. So yeah, and dot next int. So now we're at a juncture where the user is prompted, and we have dealt with okay that whatever input the user has given in. So this is the point where we actually do our else if ladder test. So for that, we are going if input is greater than 0, we'll give out as positive number. Now, yeah, I do understand that it must be feeling exactly like the same as before, if else test. The syntax will almost look the same. There is just one minor difference, which we'll just see in a second. So, yeah, we gave if keyword, a condition, a boolean statement out here, and the body of if. Now, things get a little different. So what happens here? Instead of just giving out an else, we are giving an else if kind of statement. So this is where the else if ladder begins being a little different. So out here you're gonna give else if, and once again a condition statement out here. So if input is less than 0, in that case we need to do this. Sorry, negative number. Correct. Now we have checked if it's greater than 0, we have checked if it's less than 0. Now the only thing that's left is, if the number is 0 or not. So for that, this is where else kicks in. So else will remain just as before, just else, no condition statement out here, and its body. So this out, number is 0. Yeah, lastly, I saw in my previous videos, I had not closed in the scanner in resource. That's a bad thing. Don't do that. So yeah, this time I'll make sure that I close it as well. Yeah, this is in order to avoid any kind of memory leaks. Yeah, if we don't do that, bad things can happen. So we do this. And yeah, we'll compile it. So yeah, it's giving us enter a number. Let's try 15. So yeah, that's positive number. Enter the number. Let's try minus 100. 1000. So that's a negative number. And lastly, we'll give it 0. Number is 0. Mm. So we saw that all the integers were dealt with, but do remember the fact that we were just keeping in dot next int as a thing that was handling the input variable. So if you try to give anything that's not an integer, yeah, things will go very wrong. So yeah, let's give an example for that. Let's say if we were to give in a string, yeah, then this happens. Then we get the input mismatch exception, which was expected because obviously Java is not a number. It's not an integer in our case. So yeah, there you go. Now you know how to use the else if ladder. Congratulations.